four-time defending national champions. And they will be led off this afternoon in the final game of the Getterman Classic by Abigail Dayton, their center fielder.
Definitely a big task right here for the freshman. We've seen some great things from her already. See what she can do against this Sooner lineup.
Dayton settling into that leadoff hitter role for Patty Gasso's team. .346 batting average here early on in the season. 9 hits in her 26 at-bats. She is backed up by Murderer's Row, Ella Parker, Sydney Sanders, Cassidy Pickering. This is a fantastic Oklahoma lineup, as it always is. And they look to get to work here in the top of the first as Ross starts off with a strike. Dayton takes strike 2 as Sadie Ross comes right after.
You love the aggressive attack mentality early on here.
The 0-2 from Ross. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Abby Dayton down on 3 pitches.
Sadie Ross just coming right at these Oklahoma hitters. Like we talked about, just that aggressive mentality here early on. You cannot keep that same mentality through this whole lineup. But man, what off to a great start.
Ella Parker, the right fielder, steps in for the 4-time defending national champs. The preeminent program in collegiate softball, looking to defend their title once again, but with a very new crop. 14 newcomers. That ball through the glove of Avery Waddell, the battery mate of Ross today. Jalen Govan at first, Presley Pylon and Amber Tove in the middle infield, Taria Coleman at third base. Carrington Dawson, Brooklyn Carter, Ashlyn Walkendorf, the outfield left to right. The 2-0 delivery from Ross. Catches the top outside corner of the plate for strike 1. Parker, a year ago, a sensational freshman campaign. Top 3 finalist for Freshman of the Year. Takes ball 3 high. 13 homers, 62 RBI. Most outstanding player at the Big 12 championships. Now as a sophomore, taking on more of a leadership role. Slaps this one foul. Count runs full, 3-2.
Well, this Oklahoma roster has a lot of those young ones that are serving in that leadership role. You know, captains and leaders here just as freshmen and sophomores. It shows just how much this team has changed since the national championship team last year.
The payoff pitch from Ross. Fouled away once again. Parker already with 3 home runs on the year. Chops this one up the middle. Tough play for Toven, ranging across. Not in time. Parker safe at first.
What an effort there. Just the range that Amber Toven has on this ball. Still firing over to first base, but not in time. Parker hustling down the line.
So a 1-out single for the sophomore from LA. And Sydney Sanders, another Californian, stepping in. Strike 1. Sanders an integral part of these last 2 Oklahoma National Championship runs. Checked her swing and the count runs even, 1-1. She had the go-ahead 3-run double in Game 2 of the Women's College World Series. Now the appeal down to first. It took a moment, but first base umpire confirms she did not go around, and it's 1-1. Jonathan Hand behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Jared Arrington, that first base umpire, as the count runs to 2-1. Jonathan Dewhurst at third base for the late game today, standing behind the second base bag at present. The 2-1 to Sanders on a line into right. Station to station for Oklahoma. Runners on first and second with back-to-back singles from Parker and Sanders.
Just a great job hitting behind the runner there. But Walkendorf coming up big with that throw, making it all the way across over to third base. Parker had no chance to go anywhere except 6 feet.
So now the other half of that dazzling freshman duo from a year ago, Parker and Pickering. Cassidy Pickering steps in with 2 on and 1 out. Takes ball 1 high. Pickering with a dozen homers and 51 RBI a year ago. Hit .389 as a freshman. Lifts that one foul. Gone is Jada Coleman, Tiare Jennings, Kinsey Hansen, Nicole May, Riley Boone. Ball 2, 2-1 count now from Ross. So a whole new crop for Oklahoma, needing to take up the mantle for the 4-time defending champs. The 2-1 from Ross, inside, ball 3.
Definitely a whole new lineup top to bottom for this Oklahoma team, but you do get some of those shining stars that had a chance last year, that seen the way that that they've played, this team has played, what they're capable of, and trying to take the reins.
Ball 4 to Pickering, and they walk the bases loaded with 1 out in the frame. Parker on third, Sanders on second, Pickering on first, and Nellie McEnroe-Marinas, the third baseman, steps in. .286 batting average on the year. Strike 1. Sadie Ross, the Baylor pitcher, the true freshman, the 3A Colorado Player of the Year in 2021 and 2023, but this one's up the middle for a base hit. 1 run home to score. Rounding third, the play at the plate, out at home. Brooklyn Carter with a rope to Waddell. 1 run scores for Oklahoma, but 2 outs in the inning.
You talk about just a textbook throw right there. Comes up gunning. Carter makes a strike. But Waddell doing a great job staying in front of the plate, not creating any sort of obstruction, giving her the lane, and then putting an incredible tag just in time.
Ella Parker came home to score, and it's 1-0 Oklahoma, but Sanders thrown out at home by Brooklyn Carter. And there's 2 outs in the inning. Runners on first and second as McEnroe-Marinas drives in a run. Pickering advances to second on the base hit. But what a throw from Brooklyn Carter, right on the money, and a terrific tag from Avery Waddell.
When you see so many of those plays at the plate just have to be reviewed because of possible obstruction or, you know, not having the lane. But man, that you couldn't make it any cleaner than that right there.
Sydney Barker steps in now. Designated player for this afternoon's game after playing the field this morning against Hofstra. She had the grand slam yesterday against Baylor to break that game open.
She had 2 home runs yesterday against Baylor.
Yeah. The freshman just bursting on the scene. In there for strike 2, and the count runs full. Barker thought she had drawn a walk.
With 2 outs, you definitely want that out, but giving up a walk to Barker, knowing what she did just yesterday, probably wouldn't be the worst thing.
Payoff pitch with 2 outs in the inning. Everybody moving. Barker sends it into the gap in right center, up against the wall. 1 run home to score. Rounding third and scoring with ease. 3 across for Oklahoma in the inning.
And that's the damage that she can cause right there. Not taking that ball over the fence, but keeping her hands inside of that ball and taking that outside pitch. I mean, it off the wall.
Pickering and McEnroe-Marinas both score. Barker with a 2 RBI double. 3-0 Oklahoma as the Sooners hot to start this one.
Yesterday, Oklahoma just relying so much on that long ball for their runs. I mean, 8 of their 9 runs came off of home runs. You didn't see this side of the lineup, and so you can definitely see these Sooners just settling in and finding good pitches and just putting hits back to back. That onslaught that they're so typically known for.
Chat with Sadie Ross on the mound. As there are 2 outs in the inning, but 3 runs across. Agbayani takes strike 1. Alana Agbayani, the second baseman. .280 batting average on the year. 5 RBI. She'd love to continue this first inning rally for the Sooners. Down the line, but foul. Agbayani, the transfer from BYU, was all Big 12 a year ago for the Cougs. Everyday shortstop for BYU. Now sliding in at second base for Oklahoma. Garcia playing shortstop, the true freshman out of Arizona. That one's outside the zone, and it's 2-2.
Great job right there sitting on that changeup. You kind of see her almost commit and then hold back, puts a good swing on it and fouls it straight back.
Sadie Ross trying to pull the string on her, but undeterred is Agbayani. The 2-2 once again inside for ball 3. Isabella Emmerling on deck for Oklahoma if Agbayani can get aboard. Sadie Ross trying to get out of the inning without any more damage. Another foul off by Agbayani. Oklahoma, despite coming off of the 4 straight national championships, picked to finish 3rd this year in the SEC. That's how good the Southeastern Conference is this season. Texas and Florida picked 1 and 2. Those 3 teams atop the national polls as well to start off this year.
Texas, not an unfamiliar foe for them.
No, not at all. Not at all. The SEC and the Big 12 this year will be, each of them will be a war for that top spot. Baylor involved in that, certainly in the Big 12. To short, Tovin in time to retire the side, but Oklahoma with a very fast start. 3 on the board. The 2 RBI double from Barker leading the way. Ready for the bottom of the first inning. Ready for the bottom of the first inning. As Sam Landry steps into the circle for the Oklahoma Sooners. The transfer from Louisiana. Spent 3 years with the Ragin' Cajuns. Now a member of this Oklahoma team and facing a Baylor program that she became very familiar with last year in the NCAA tournament as she faced off against Baylor a number of times in the regionals.
I believe she pitched all 3 games against Baylor in that regional.
Now a Sooner and facing the Bears once again.
Baylor able to take 2 of 3 of those games.
On their way to the Super Regionals, where they came 1 win shy of going to the Women's College World Series, forcing a very good Florida team to a 3rd game. One of the top programs in the Big 12 year after year. Glenn Moore's team once again expected a challenge atop the conference, as Taria Coleman leads it off for his team here in the final game of the Getterman Classic. Coleman followed by Brooklyn Carter, who has been in the leadoff spot most of the weekend. Strike 1 counts even to Coleman. You and I were just talking about it off the air, that a lot of times Glenn Moore likes to go with that power hitter in the leadoff spot. Peel the onion back. What's the logic behind that?
Well, I mean, if you've obviously they're down 3 runs right now, but in a typical game, you have your power hitter in your #1 spot. You can easily be up on the game 1-0 with the 1 swing of the bat. Then you turn around, you got your 2-3-4. That's your typical leadoff. So it's almost like just trying for the big one here. I think the anomaly that comes in Taria Coleman is that she's got a ton of speed also.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at her, you think she's just a power hitter, and it's performed really well lower in the lineup in the meat of the order. But she's got the opportunity the speed to drop a bunt, to be that dual player, that dual offensive threat from the left-handed batter's box.
She has done everything that Glenn Moore could have wanted her to do so far this year. .560 batting average, .613 on base percentage, .840 slugging. A tremendous start to her Baylor career. Did she check her swing? No. Strike 3. Coleman down on strikes.
There's another look at that. And, can't hold that swing back.
So Brooklyn Carter, the center fielder, steps in. She too off to a hot start this year. .452 at the plate. 14 hits in her 31 at-bats. A transfer from Washington. Pac-12 all-freshman team in 2023. Started 35 games a year ago for Washington. Now here in Baylor. Slap hit right to shortstop. Garcia across the diamond in time, and there's 2 away.
Garcia playing a solid shortstop right there. You gotta love that from the freshman.
Stepping into the box now, Shaylin Govan, the All-American in 2024. First team All-American, an absolute superstar. Missed some time early on this season. Jordan Ostrike and I were talking about it in some of the earlier games when Baylor fans saw her name absent from the lineup the first couple games of the year. If you're a Baylor fan, your heart kind of jumps in your throat. What do you mean Shaylin Govan's not in the lineup? But it was just a class-related thing, and she's back out on the field now without any issue. And she is so very important to all the goals that Glenn Moore and his team have this year. A tremendous talent. That one misses outside from Landry, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Govan coming in 2 years ago, just a transfer herself from SFA, but just came in and made a huge impact right away for this Baylor team. And then 2nd team All-American that year. Last year, a unanimous 1st team All-American bid. I mean, just has been nonstop since coming to Waco.
And she was the author of a 3-run homer against Oklahoma here in the Getterman Classic 2 years ago to hand the Sooners a 4-3 loss in what was their only loss of that 2023 campaign. A 61-1 championship season for the Sooners. That one was courtesy of number 12 in the batter's box right now.
We like to consider that game, Baylor fans like to consider that game the -1. Well, we talked about you play these games early on, you don't realize the impact that it may have. I mean, Baylor comes out and competes, and what a legacy it holds on to for a while.
Govan down on strikes this time, though. 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the first goes Baylor. Top 2 after this. Year number 25 for Glenn Moore as the head coach of the Baylor Bears. 4 Women's College World Series appearances in his tenure, over 900 career wins, including win number 920 this morning against Hofstra. Early this afternoon, I should say. Looking to get back to the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2017. As we mentioned earlier, they were painfully close a year ago against Florida in the Super Regionals.
Definitely a lot of unfinished business for many of these players here.
Sadie Ross back to work with a strike against Isabella Emmerling, the Oklahoma catcher. Emmerling, a transfer from North Carolina, was the everyday catcher for the Heels a year ago.
They got a beautiful campus there. Have you ever been?
Oh my God, I have not been, but yes, Chapel Hill is magnificent. I know that just from osmosis, just from seeing pictures. It's unbelievable. 3-1 now the count to Emmerling, who hit 14 homers and 53 RBIs a year ago at UNC. Now with 2 years left of eligibility, coming to play for Patty Gasso. Chopped foul, and the count's full. Sadie Ross, the freshman, very likely to have a big role this year. Again, already making her 7th appearance of the season. That one roped to second. Presley Pylon easily over to first in time for the first out of the inning. But Ross, in addition to Lily Walker coming over from Duke, Lexi Warnicki, who pitched earlier today against Hofstra, also a freshman, redshirt freshman. The return of Dariana Orm. That's kind of the Baylor pitching staff right now, with the loss of Aaliyah Binford and Riley Crandall to the transfer portal. So that's really the biggest question mark. The lineup appears to be quite solid for Glenn Moore, and there's certainly talent. I mean, Lily Walker coming over from Duke had a fantastic year at Duke, so I don't mean to say that there's not talent in the Baylor pitching staff, but it's just a matter of figuring out, okay, who fits where, who does well in what role, and that's part of what they're trying to sort through here early on in the season.
Well, and I think, too, just still battling some injuries, coming off some injuries. So not having a lot of depth in that bullpen right now is difficult.
Pylon again with a ranging play in time. Not in time at first base. I thought she had gotten it over to the bag in time, but beating it out is Gabby Garcia.
It's just an effort right here by Presley Pylon, that spin and throw. I just wonder if in the reach, does Shaylin Govan's foot come off the base?
Ooh, that is incredibly close. I think the call is correct. I think she is safe, but it is by a 1/10 of a second. It's incredibly close.
I think in her stretch, toe comes off just a bit.
Glenn Moore is going to challenge it. He came out to have a long chat with Jared Arrington, the first base umpire, and make sure. Another angle at it here.
It's so hard to tell.
Frame by frame here.
I think you're right. That call stands by a fraction of a second.
It may be, as we went, as our our crew blinked that forward frame by frame. It may have been one frame between foot on bag and ball in glove. But I do think the call's going to stand here that Gabby Garcia is safe at first base. What a play, though, by Presley Pylon to make it that close. Ranging that far over, twisting and firing all in one motion. Most second basemen don't make it remotely that close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to get to that ball alone and then to make the spin and throw.
To make the spin, to make the throw on target enough that Govan had a chance to record the out. A lot of second basemen make that play, and the ball's in the fourth row. Oh my goodness, did they say she's out?
They did say that. What a play.
Wow.
That has got to be one of the top plays right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that goes down as a monster play from Presley Pylon. Back-to-back assists for Pylon, and the second one, now that it's officially an out, is remarkable. I can't believe because they overturned their own call with that when we thought, based on the video, that there was evidence to uphold the call. Wow, 2 down in the inning. Back to the top of the order for Oklahoma and Abigail Dayton. Glenn Moore, challenge successful.
Just believing in Ashlyn Walkendorf was the right fielder there with the biggest selling point. She knew, she saw it. Just to have the faith in her to be like, all right, let's try this. Because you don't want to lose that challenge early in a game on a second out of a second inning.
You've got to be strategic with how and where and when you use your challenge. That one didn't miss by much, but it's 2-1. Chopped past the third baseman Coleman that was drawn in, and it's a single for Abigail Dayton.
She definitely tried to respond on that one, threw her glove up. I think it hit off the leather just a bit, but they don't call that the hot corner for anything.
Well, and with Dayton's ability to slap hit, I think that was part of why Coleman was drawn as far forward as she was, so that was even hotter to handle than it would be where she's standing currently. That one is lifted by Parker into center, but underneath it is Brooklyn Carter, and that'll retire the side. Oklahoma with a 3-0 lead after 2. Baylor back to work after this.
Second inning, it's number 42, Carrington Dawson.
Back for the bottom of the second. Sam Landry back in the circle to face the middle of the Baylor order. Carrington Dawson, the left fielder, the 4-hole hitter today, to lead off here in the bottom of the second. Swings through, strike 1. Presley Pylon, Amber Tovin due up to follow. Pylon coming off the sensational play at second base that went under review and was ruled an out. The second out of the inning in the top half of the second. But now Baylor looking to go to work offensively and carve into this Oklahoma lead. Dawson, the true freshman, chops this one foul down the first base line. 7 hits in her 26 ABs so far this year. Handful of RBI. Waiting on the 1-2 from Sam Landry, the transfer from Louisiana. First team all Sun Belt in 2024. 24-10 with a 2.09 ERA is the ace for the Louisiana staff, and that missed just low, and it's 2-2. Glenn Moore wants to talk things over here with Carrington Dawson prior to the 2-2 delivery. Landry from here in Texas, Barbers Hill, a little south of here. Led Barbers Hill to a state title back in 2021 here in Texas, before 3 years with Louisiana. The bespectacled senior delivers the 2-2, chopped right back to her. Dawson can't beat it out, and that's the first out of the inning.
You don't see very many pitchers gun that ball to first base quite with that speed and that enthusiasm. She knew the speed that Dawson brought, though.
I was going to say, yeah, when you know Dawson's flying down that first base line, you don't have much choice but to hustle your way through the play. Nicely done by Landry. And there's one away. Pylon stepping in now, the second baseman. Takes strike one. Pylon struggled at the plate in the earlier game today against Hofstra, but in general has started the year very well. .393 batting average, 11 hits in her 28 ABs. That one's inside for ball two, and she's out ahead of Landry. In years past, it's been said that whatever you get from Presley Pylon at the plate is a bonus because of what she does in the field, but this year, a terrific start at the plate as well.
She's definitely settling in. She's moving up in the lineup a little bit more. Coach has some confidence in her.
This one she hits to second base. Agbayani across the diamond in time. 2 down. Some words of advice from Pylon to her infield mate Amber Tovin before the junior shortstop steps in. Amber Tovin back in the lineup for Glenn Moore's team is a game changer. Even more important, back at shortstop and allowing Presley Pylon to work back to second base. Maybe even more important, that middle infield, especially from a defensive perspective, about as good as it gets across the country. Tovin fouled that one off herself. Played the first 7 games of last year before the ACL injury cost her the rest of the season, but back healthy now and off to a good start this year, batting .348. One and 2 count to Tovin. Baylor still looking for their first hit of the day here, bottom 2.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Just foul. The 1-2 from Landry. Chopped right back to her. What a stab by Landry. 2 assists from the pitcher in the inning. 6 up, 6 down for Baylor. And we head to the 3rd here in Waco, the final game of the Getterman Classic. Year number 31 for Patty Gasso at Oklahoma. 8 national championships to her name, including, of course, the last 4 in a row, as the Sooners begin their title defense yet again. But as we talked about earlier, this is a different crop for Patty Gasso, as she has to kind of not start over, but about as close as she's had to in a few years now, as that is right up the middle for Sydney Sanders on the first pitch of the inning, and a leadoff single, her second hit of the game for the Oklahoma first baseman.
You look at that record, 1,500 wins in 31 years. And, I mean, we just ID Coach Moore did 2 innings before, and he's the winningest coach in Baylor history with over 900 wins in his 25 years here. You think just 6 extra years, she almost doubles that. Just incredible what she's able to do, and a testament to how she coaches, able to get talent, but she coaches great players, and she knows the game.
Cheney Helton comes on for her as a pinch runner for Sanders. Helton at first base. Gasso losing, though, a ton of talent off of last year's championship team. Jada Coleman, Tiare Jennings, Kinsey Hansen, Riley Boone, Nicole May, that core 5 senior leadership quintet went 235 and 15 in their careers from that 2021 to 2024 span, winning 4 championships, run ruling nearly half of their opponents over the course of that time. Just ridiculous numbers, and now they've got to replace a lot of that talent. They're already well on their way with the fact that they bring back Parker and Pickering. Sydney Sanders, really the senior leader, it would seem, of this bunch, really the only senior from a lineup perspective. They have senior pitchers that will play key roles. Landry transferring over from Louisiana, Isabella Smith, the transfer from Campbell. But again, newcomers, they may be seniors, but they're new to the program as well after 3 years with a different program. So it is a very different look to Oklahoma this year as they go for a 5th consecutive title.
I mean, you look up and down the roster, there's 14 newcomers for the Sooner team. And so, I mean, you may come from a different program, you may be an upperclassman, but it's how you gel together, how you work, and how you understanding Coach Gasso and what she expects, her expectations for her team, and then putting it all together and playing together.
Pickering waits on the 2-2. It's in the dirt, and the count runs full from Sadie Ross. Pickering, the preseason All-SEC honoree. Checked her swing and draws the walk. Two on and nobody out for Oklahoma as McEnroe Marinas steps in.
Number 2, Nelly McEnroe Marinas.
The third baseman singled, drove in a run, later scored in the first as Oklahoma plated 3 in the frame. Now an opportunity to do some more damage. Darting away from second base was Helton, the pinch runner, but able to get back to second base as Waddell did a nice job to corral the short hop. Chopped right to Coleman, steps on the third base bag, fires across the diamond, not in time. They get the lead runner, but McEnroe Marinas able to beat the throw to first.
Heads up play by Coleman to turn and run and tag that bag for sure. Then making the big throw across. you almost don't have a chance at that point, just running back to the bag to make the tag against the base. But man, just eliminating a step and throwing on the run, she made it close.
Terrific play by Coleman to very nearly turn 2. But she does get the lead runner in Helton, so it's Pickering now on second. 2-0 count as Sydney Barker, the freshman, steps in. Doubled and drove in a pair of runs in the first. 2 on and 1 out for her now. Strike 1. Barker, 14 at bats on the year, 14 RBI. That's a pretty good ratio. Lifts this one into right field. Underneath it is Wackendorf. Pickering will tag and advance to third, but there's now 2 out in the frame. Barker with the fly out. First and third, 2 out for Agbayani. One and 0. Agbayani, the transfer from BYU, all Big 12 last year for the Cougars. 2 years ago was the West Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Down the line, but slicing foul. Terrific defensively as a freshman, then last year turned the bat on in a big way. 4th in the Big 12 in batting average, hitting .424.
To do that in the Big 12 is tough.
Down the line again, but yet again slicing out of play. Carrington Dawson giving chase, but well beyond her grasp. 1-2 the count to Agbayani. Up the middle, Carter ranging, it's gone. Ailana Agbayani lifts one to left center field, a 3-run shot, and Oklahoma doubles the lead.
Carter gave great chase to that ball, getting all the way to the fence, but ultimately the ball just sailed right over the, looks like it pops off the top of the fence. You can see she's got a great move on it, but just ran out of room. Oklahoma continuing their reliance on that long ball right there. They can do it all.
Agbayani finds the power alley in left center. And Oklahoma with a 6-0 lead here in the third. A 2-out, 3-run homer. And now Emmerling steps in. 3 in the first, 3 in the third. And Oklahoma is in control in the finale of the Getterman Classic. Chopped to short. Tovin, easy play, and the side is retired, but not before Oklahoma adds to the lead. Ailana Agbayani, the second baseman, makes it 6-0 Oklahoma. About an hour because of wind chill this morning. Not often you hear about a softball game being delayed because of wind chill, but the first game of the day, Hofstra and Oklahoma, scheduled for a 10 o'clock start, pushed back to 11 because of how cold it was this morning. A little warmer, certainly more comfortable, an awful lot sunnier than it was at 10 a.m. Helped everything, pushed everything back a bit, but I don't think any of these players or coaches mind the extra hour to be able to warm up just a smidge. But we do wind the Getterman Classic to a close here this afternoon. 6-0 in favor of Oklahoma. After another 3 spot in the third, Leah Cran swings through that one
that 10 o'clock matchup was between Oklahoma and Hofstra, and I don't want to be the one to tell Oklahoma that it's forecasted to be in the teens later this week.
Yeah, Oklahoma not strangers to cold weather. Hofstra certainly not strangers to cold weather. Coming from Hempstead, New York, up on Long Island.
You gotta have some
long journey down here.
Some sort of wind chill. I mean, it's got to be something fierce between those two teams.
Adrian Clark, the head coach of Hofstra, was telling us when we spoke with her during the 4th inning of that game that they've got snow on the way to Hofstra right now. They don't play many home games until the calendar turns to late March, early April. Swing and a miss for strike 3 for Leah Cran.
You get out of the Y months, hit March, April.
Avery Waddell catching this afternoon and in the 8-hole. Takes ball 1. Very nice start to the day from Sam Landry, 7 up, 7 down. Waddell, the freshman, chopped this one down the line. That will stay fair, just long enough for Sydney Sanders to grab it and step on the bag, 2 away.
It definitely stayed fair.
Just squirreled its way down the line. Sanders was fortunate that it had enough heat on it to actually get to her in time for her to make the play on it. And there's 2 away for Ashlyn Walkendorf. Slap bunt attempt went over the top of it. Walkendorf had a very nice game against Hofstra earlier, making a big impact at the plate.
She's just kind of taken that opportunity in the box and has just gone with it. Hitting 2 triples on the weekend, a 3-for-3 game just earlier today, and I mean, really taking the time to be like, hey, I proving her point. Like, I deserve to be in this lineup. We talked about the depth that Coach Moore has. I mean, for the most part, he's got his defense set. It's the question mark in the pitching circle, but he's got depth with the fielding that he's got too. And Ashlyn's like, I'm going to stay in this lineup because I can do something with my bat.
Walkendorf 3-for-3, 2 RBIs, a pair of runs scored as well in that 11-3 win over Hofstra earlier this afternoon. Interestingly, both of these teams won against Hofstra today, 11-3 in 5 innings. Identical results to set up today's finale. The 0-2 swung on and missed, lost her bat, and that's the inning. 9 up, 9 down for Sam Landry, and it's 6-0 Oklahoma as we head to the 4th. Baylor head coach Glenn Moore joining us. His team down 6-0 here as we start the 4th inning. Coach, what have you seen so far from Sam Landry, the Oklahoma pitcher that has impressed you and has been able to keep you guys under wraps?
Well, first of all, Coach Gasso's trying to get him a pitcher here to make it look a little bit better. But no, you know, she's a phenomenal pitcher, and she's mixing it, working all the planes, throwing 70 miles an hour. That takes a lot of skill to barrel up any of those pitches. So she's got us handcuffed a little bit right now, and we're trying to groom 2 freshmen. And I got a freshman on the plate, so got to let them grow a little bit. This is where you grow up, and you know, making a few mistakes and paying for it. But we're getting better.
You got to love that this game continues, Coach. I mean, thanks for your effort on bringing Oklahoma in and just continuing some Big 12 softball early in the year.
Yeah, well, you don't get better by playing people you're better than. So you get better playing people like Oklahoma, and that's why we're not afraid to schedule them. We know they make us better, and we just need to challenge them a little bit better than we are right now, make them better. So thank you for saying that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Coach Glenn Moore, we appreciate the time. I would have loved if Patty Gasso heard him say that and just like peeked her head back into the frame like, yeah, I'm here too. We'll catch up with Coach Gasso in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Her team back to work on the offensive end as Gabby Garcia, the shortstop, steps in. 9-hole hitter leading off here in the 4th. With her team ahead 6-0 and looking to add to it. Ball 1 from Sadie Ross.
In the coach's interview yesterday, talking to Coach Gasso, she mentioned something similar, just, that Coach Moore is consistently a great coach, but it just has feisty teams that like to fight, and she likes to put her teams up against that.
Nice play by Presley Pylon. She's been as advertised at second base today. Another put out for the special second baseman. One away in the inning is Abigail Dayton. Brings Oklahoma back to the top of the order. You heard Glenn Moore say it. We're trying to break a couple freshmen in here. An all-freshman battery with Sadie Ross and Avery Waddell against Oklahoma. Yeah. Welcome to Division I softball, and let's see what you can do, kid.
Yep. You just see a difference in Sam Landry, the way pitching here with the Oklahoma team as she did against Louisiana. But, I mean, Coach Moore kind of alluded to it when we were chatting with him between innings is, when you have that defense behind you, I mean, you have a little bit more confidence to pitch. And so that's one of the things that Daria Orm kind of struggled through yesterday. And, as a freshman, you've got to figure that out too, is you've got a whole new defense behind you. And how am I going to pitch to that? What does that look like? And then just having the trust in them behind you to know, I can throw this pitch right now with confidence because I know that they've got my back.
3-1 pitch here coming from Ross to Abigail Dayton. Chopped back up the middle. Pylon with another tough play to have to make, and this one evades her glove. Safe at first is Abigail Dayton.
Just the range right there, the defensive coverage that Presley Pylon can make. We saw that the play behind first base earlier this game, and then, I mean, getting to that ball and stopping it from getting to the outfield behind second base right there.
It's a single for Dayton. And Ella Parker steps in. Waddell with a quick look down to first as Dayton danced her way off of first base.
You got a perfect opportunity right here to watch a double play turn up the middle. I mean, if you have not seen one between Coven and Pylon, like it's something special to watch. 20+ double plays by this Baylor defense last year on the season. I mean, they just have got this rhythm that's so incredible to watch.
Chance for one right here. Toven by her lonesome to turn 2.
And that's it right there. That's what you're talking about.
To the bottom of the 4th we go. The double play from Amber Toven. What ACL injury? Welcome back, young woman. Headed to the bottom of the 4th.
I would hit myself when the camera's on.
Patty Gasso joining us as we start off the bottom of the 4th inning. Coach, we appreciate the time. We were just talking in the break about Sam Landry and how well she's performing. 9 up, 9 down as she steps back up into the circle now. What have you liked what you've seen from the transfer in from Louisiana?
Well, she's had a great fall with us, and thus far a really great spring. And she's kind of leading this pitching staff, and we wanted to save her for this opportunity. And she's really grown since she's come here and feels very confident. It's cool to see that.
Well, we complimented Coach Moore just for, doing the hard thing and bringing you guys in, but continuing this competition between 2 great teams. So it's always good to have you in Waco and to watch your team perform.
Thank you. I appreciate Coach Moore for, we both have gone against each other for so long, and we love competition. And so that iron sharpens iron. We know what that means in many ways, but in softball as well.
Absolutely.
Coach, there's so much different about this year's team as compared to the team that won 4 straight. Obviously, your senior class that was outgoing was tremendous. As you've evaluated the first now 9 games of your team's season, what do you like about this version of your Oklahoma team?
They're good in all areas. They're fast, they're scrappy, they're strong. I don't know. They love
got
to
the
play.
long ball, too.
Yeah, we do. They love to play. They compete. They compete. It's fun.
Well, you're fun to watch, and
Thank you,
just
guys.
wish you the best this season, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Patty Gasso, thank you so much. We appreciate the time. 6-0 rather. Her team leads 9 up, 9 down for Sam Landry. But now second time through the order for the Baylor Bears. Can Taria Coleman and company stir up the offense for Baylor here as they start off the 4th inning?
Definitely have to take a different approach. You learn from pitch by pitch and from at bat to at bat, but then now you have your second time through the lineup, and you got to figure out a way to start chipping away and getting into Sam Landry right here.
Coleman was right on time for that delivery, just a little underneath it, and fouled it straight back to the netting. A fantastic start to Taria Coleman's Baylor career, .538, the batting average. The homer she had earlier today against Hofstra left the park in no time at all. A terrific addition to this Baylor lineup.
You're down 6 runs to Oklahoma, and that seems like a whole lot to come back to try to win this game. And not that it can't be done, but I think the approach needs to be, okay, we've got an incredible pitcher here throwing 70+ miles an hour. We got to find a way to make a difference against a pitcher like this. So this isn't the last time you're going to see this type of caliber pitching.
Coleman rolls over 1 to third, and there's 1 out in the inning. Brooklyn Carter stepping in now.
Baylor Bears, it's number 11, Brooklyn Carter.
Carter has been the leadoff hitter for most of Baylor's games so far this season. The transfer in from Washington. Strike 1 as she pulled back on her bunt attempt. Carter played her high school ball at Notre Dame High School in California, but also played a year at LD Bell here in Texas before making her way to Baylor. Top 10 player in her high school class before heading to Washington, before then coming here to Baylor. A circuitous path, California to Texas to Washington, back to Texas, but here she is for her junior year. The 0-2 from Landry. Swung on and missed for strike 3. The 5th strikeout of the day for Sam Landry. 11 up, 11 down for the Louisiana transfer.
You just see the spin on that ball. I mean, just like a drop curve that's going inside. That's hard for those left-handed hitters to get around, especially when it's coming in at 72 miles an hour.
So now with 2 away, it's Govan trying to solve the riddle that Sam Landry has been today. We were talking about in the commercial break when these two teams, when Baylor rather, played against this pitcher, Sam Landry, at Louisiana a year ago in the regionals. In 2 different games, 8 hits and 6 hits against her, but they cannot seem to solve her today.
Yeah, I mean, a very similar lineup that Baylor is producing today that they had just last year in May 18th and 19th. You look at the box scores, and you're going to put up 6 hits and then 8 hits to head to a super regional, and they've yet to find a way to crack Sam Landry's code today.
That one misses low and away. 2-1 to Govan.
Not only that, I mean, you got to give credit to Sam Landry for not being the same pitcher that she was either. I mean, she's grown. I mean, even from junior year to a senior year, you spend 3 years in one place. You come to Oklahoma, you receive some different pitching. You're working with a different battery. You've got an incredible defense behind you, and just the confidence that you get as you start to develop as a pitcher, even into your senior year.
She's 1 strike away from being perfect through 4. The 2-2 delivery to Govan. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 6 Ks on the day for Landry. 12 up, 12 down. To the 5th we go. What a performance from the senior transfer from Louisiana. The final game of the 3-day Getterman Classic. 6-0 the lead for Oklahoma as we start the fifth.
That wind chill's up to 43 now, so.
Up to 43. Mercy. A wind chill delay this morning delayed the Oklahoma Hofstra opener from 10 to 11 o'clock. Pushed everything back a hair.
If you're tuning in anywhere in the nation, you're like, 49's not bad. Okay, you got to remember it was almost 70 yesterday. At 6 p.m. yesterday when Baylor was playing Hofstra, it was almost 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And then that cold front came in. You rewind even a day further, Friday night, it's 47 and misting. So we've had the wide array of temperatures here in Texas.
It was 77 at my house yesterday afternoon. We're out in the backyard getting lawn work done, and the front came in, and we lost about 25 degrees in an hour and a half or two. It was crazy how fast the temperature just plummeted.
Oh, we watched that come in here. I mean, obviously it comes in behind us on this stadium. The wind starts blowing out, which you rarely see here at Getterman Stadium, but you definitely felt that temperature drop.
3-1 is low, and Sanders draws a leadoff walk here in the fifth. Oklahoma has won each of their games this weekend at the Getterman Classic by run rule. All of them in 5 innings. They would need to plate at least 2 here in the top of the fifth to achieve that feat again, as Cassidy Pickering steps in. We mentioned Oklahoma trying to defend their 4-peat. Winning 4 in a row is a massive, massive feat. Winning 5 in a row is where you get into truly elite category. I went looking up the teams that have actually won 5 straight championships in any sport. The list is incredibly small. You got to go 40s and 50s Yankees, 60s Celtics, 60s and 70s UCLA as that one gets away from Waddell. Scooting down to second is Sidney Sanders. Runner on second with nobody out here for Pickering.
Coach John Wooden era.
Yes, the John Wooden UCLA teams. UNC women's soccer has the longest stretch that I was able to find anyway in team sports. 9 consecutive women's soccer championships from 86 to 94. A ridiculous run, but it is not common. That one slicing away from Dawson. One hops to her. Around third comes Sanders, and she'll score. Pickering and Sanders exchange positions at home in second. It's an RBI double for the sophomore.
Well, Dawson just given any effort right there to keep that ball in front of her. Doesn't really have a chance to catch this ball in the air, but just lays out to keep that ball from hitting the wall and keeping her to second base.
Some discussion here between Glenn Moore and our home plate umpire, Jonathan Hand. Looks like we may see a change in the field here for Baylor.
Give a different look in the circle.
Sadie Ross is 89 pitches into her day, so that certainly seems like a possibility.
I mean, at this point, you're trying to save that run rule right here.
And here comes Dariana Orm to replace Sadie Ross in the circle. Sadie Ross, the true freshman out of Eaton High School, had a tremendous high school career, already off to a nice start in her freshman year here at Baylor, but facing the ultimate test against the Oklahoma Sooners. And I'm certain she learned a thing or two over the course of her 4+ innings worth of work, but she will yield the circle to Dariana Orm.
Orm has just made such an impact against these Sooners in years past. I know that she's got this torn in between her of wanting to be back to where she was, but then battling through this injury. One of the last complete game, in fact, the last complete game she pitched was 2 years ago in April of 2023 against the Sooners. So until yesterday, she hadn't pitched a complete game in almost 2 years. So I know she's got a little bit of this competition inside of her of like, I want some redemption. I want another crack at these Sooners hitters.
She will get that opportunity here. Thoracic outlet syndrome surgery stole most of her 2024. She was tremendous in 2023, all Big 12 second team. She has been one of the very best pitchers in the Big 12 before, and she very much wants to get back to that status. Good to see her back in the circle, and as you said, an opportunity against one of the very best lineups in collegiate softball to show, yeah, I'm right back to being me.
Well, and even if she's not quite back to that level, yeah, she's still working back, and we're watching pitch counts for sure. But I mean, Coach Moore said you got to compete to grow, and I mean, why not have a couple at bats against some of these Sooner bats?
Nobody out in the inning. Runner on second is Pickering. Nellie McEnroe-Marinas stepping in. The third baseman takes ball one from Orm. This spring marks the 7th year that Dariana Orm is part of this Baylor in collegiate softball. She was at Fresno State originally, but she has been a collegiate softball player since 2019.
7th year senior.
Pickering advanced to third on the throw. 2-0 count here to McEnroe-Marinas. Strike one. Low for ball three. I believe 7 years to get your doctorate, right? Dariana Orm has got some serious time on a collegiate campus.
You should have multiple degrees at this point.
If nothing else, she's got a master's in that circle. Looking to get back to that mastery. Fouled away, and the count runs full to McEnroe-Marinas.
Well, as a 7th year senior, if you're doing the math, she's turning 25 this year. Coach Moore's been at Baylor for 25 years. You don't tend to think of it in that aspect, but
the payoff pitch from Orm. Fouled away again. Good fight here from McEnroe-Marinas. The 7th pitch of the at-bat. Fouled away again.
you look at that captain's badge on her jersey right there. I mean, she's a redshirt freshman. So it just shows you the newness of this team and just the amount of respect that Coach Gasso has for her freshmen and her sophomores in Parker and McEnroe-Marinas right here.
Another payoff delivery chopped through the hole and left. Coming home to score is Pickering. An RBI single for Nellie McEnroe-Marinas. Oklahoma with an 8-0 lead. McEnroe-Marinas, another in a long line of recruits out of Hawaii for the Oklahoma Sooners. Her first year actually on the field this spring after she was hurt last year and took a redshirt year at a Mary Knoll High School on the Hawaiian Islands. Won a state title with Mary Knoll, was ranked the #6 player in her senior class, and now making an impact already as a redshirt freshman for the Sooners.
Number 2 is out, number 12 is in.
pinch runner will come on for McEnroe Marinas. It's Maya Bland. Bland, a terrific pinch runner a year ago for the national champion Sooners. She'll come on in precisely that role here. Sydney Barker, scorching hot to start her freshman year, steps in once again. Looking to add to this 8-0 advantage. Takes strike one. Fouled straight back. Barker all over it from a timing perspective, but missed it low. There were inevitably going to be some questions about Oklahoma, with as much as they lost off of last year's team, with as much as is new to this year's team. Get taken to 11 innings by Long Beach State a week ago. All right, how good is Oklahoma really this year?
What we've seen this weekend, yeah.
The result of this weekend suggests a lot.
I think it's difficult, too, because you're coming off of 4 straight national champions, and so obviously there's a target on your back. And so you see, okay, they've got a totally different team. You start to look at them as if this is a little bit more capable than the years past, the rosters of years past. But, I mean, as Coach Gasso said during the interview, they're feisty. They can do it all. They've got speed. They've got the strength. And they're feisty. They want to fight. And I think that's going to make all the difference in a team. It's one thing, too, to know that you're the best and to act like it and to just keep going for more and build that dynasty. And it's another thing to try to protect that. And
lifted into left field, but underneath it is Dawson. And they will chase the runner back to first in Maya Bland.
Coach Gasso used the...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Orm got Sydney Barker looking, by the way, on strikes a moment ago. We failed to mention that.
I mean, she's yet to be retired. I mean...
Yeah.
6 RBIs yesterday against Baylor. Another 2 today. Just an incredible performance.
Another chat between Jonathan Hand and the Baylor dugout as Taria Coleman and Dari Orm share some words in the circle. Just good to see 24 back in the circle for Baylor after all that she's been through the last couple of years.
It's good to see her smiling. I mean, she will put that game face on and be the competitor right here, but in between pitches, when she's relaxed and she's feeling good, she's got a great smile on her face, knowing I'm doing what I love.
Tia Malloy, the pinch hitter for Oklahoma, coming on for Emmerling. She hit a home run to bring their game against Hofstra to a close in the 5th inning this morning. Fouls this one away. It's 1-1. With an 8-0 Oklahoma lead, Baylor will need to score in the bottom of the 5th to continue the game.
Well, I think they're going to need to find something just for the pride standpoint too. You don't want to end the Getterman Classic on that note, the 0 across the line.
Oklahoma by scoring a couple of runs here in this frame has opened the door for Sam Landry to etch her name in the history books with 3 outs in the 5th. Malloy swings through that one, and it's 2-2. Tia Malloy from rather good stock. Her father, Lawyer Malloy, a Super Bowl champion with the Patriots back in the early 2000s, Super Bowl 36 champion. Her mother, Claudine, a two-time All-American in track at Washington. Had an older sister that played at Tennessee, Kiki Malloy. The Malloys are quite good athletes, and Tia Malloy, the freshman, beginning her career for Oklahoma, fitting right in line with that.
Some pretty good bloodline right there.
The payoff pitch from Orm. Chopped to second. Pylon in time at first to retire the side, but Oklahoma plates a couple here in the fifth, and they've got a chance to finish off the run ruling if they can hold Baylor scoreless, bottom five. Oklahoma's Sam Landry, an opportunity at a piece of personal history. She has been mowing down Baylor batters all day long. 12 up, 12 down, 6 strikeouts. She does have one no-hitter in her career during her time at Louisiana against Lafayette College. No perfect games to speak of. Both those opportunities on the table now as Carrington Dawson steps in for Baylor here in the bottom of the fifth. The 8-0 lead for Oklahoma gives the Sooners the opportunity to close this thing off with 3 outs here if they can keep Baylor off the board.
I mean, an incredible performance already. Just, I mean, 12 up, 12 down, like you said, and 6 strikeouts, but only pitching 48 pitches so far. I mean, just effective and just an attack mode by Sam Landry right here, coming right at these Baylor hitters.
Effective, efficient, all the things. And a 1-1 count here to Dawson. Swung on and missed for strike 2.
She's averaging less than 3 pitches at each batter.
That's insane.
Less than 4 for sure.
This is her 13th batter faced. Swing and a miss for strike 3. This will give us prime opportunity to do precisely that math.
And just add another one there, going up in the zone, and Dawson not able to hold off.
Less than 4 pitches per batter faced today. 13 up, 13 down, over 51 pitches, 3.9 pitches per batter faced. Strike 1 to Presley Pylon.
Hey, look at that. There's only 14 balls pitched all day today.
Sam Landry, the transfer to Louisiana, looking for the second perfect game of the year for the Oklahoma Sooners pitching staff. Chopped, tough play. Nicely done by Landry, and she's 1 out away. You always wonder just how aware they are in the moment of what they're on the verge of. That smile after the putout to get on 2 outs here in the fifth suggests she's fully aware of just how close she is. Amber Tovin, the last line of defense for the Baylor lineup. Swung on and missed, strike 1.
If she knows it all, she is pretty calm, cool, and collected right there in the circle. She's all business still.
The 0-1, strike 2. The 56th pitch of the day from Sam Landry. Strike 3 swinging, 15 up, 15 down, and a perfect game for Oklahoma's Sam Landry.
We talked yesterday about Kirsten Deal just dealing pitches, but that is nothing compared to the performance we just saw from Sam Landry in the circle.
A virtuoso performance from the Louisiana transfer. And Sam Landry finishes off the Getterman Classic in style, getting Tovin swinging through strike 3. A dominant performance from the Oklahoma senior.
Well, and just an overall great team performance. I mean, Oklahoma not relying just on that long ball. Of course, they had one tonight, but stringing hits together, showing off their speed, putting things in motion, all behind of the arm right there of Sam Landry.
The second perfect game of the year by an Oklahoma pitcher. Isabella Smith did so in a 5-inning run rolling of Cal Baptist last week. Make it 2 on the year for the Sooners. Make it 10-0 on the year for Oklahoma. And the beginnings of their title defense of the four-peat rather strong as Patty Gasso's team stockpiles another win. For our entire ESPN crew, Kelly Harrell alongside, I'm Mike Leslie. Thanks so much for joining us for the Getterman Classic. More Baylor softball coming your way here on ESPN Plus all season long.